I'm ready to slash and burn.
No quarter. I am going to be uncomfortable and all over you from start to finish.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Box. And I normally, wait a little while before I have a team on again. But as everybody knows, I am a huge fan of Team Doomba, and Doomba did recently have a pretty epic match that I want to talk about. So we've got Doomba back on the show.
Thanks for having us. It was a lot of fun last time, so I'm excited to be here again.
Yes, absolutely. So, first of all, because one of the last things that we were talking about the last time was, that you were having this awesome watch party kind of to celebrate this fight versus Dragon King. So let's kind of talk a little bit about how that went.
So we hosted the watch party at our hackerspace, and we had about 30 people come out, and it was so much fun. Like I went out into the night with the idea that I would teach kids to drive death robots and gamble. And it turns out that's exactly what we did. So we started them out on Baby Doomba, which was a little bit scary because they found the chainsaw switch. So they were out in the shipping crate, chainsawing pieces of random scrap wood. And then once they mastered Baby Doomba, we let them drive actual Doomba, which is always fun. And you always see that one dad that doesn't want to say anything, but he desperately wants to drive the robot.
Yeah, those are always good. I'm
That was
really
great.
sad that I missed our own watch party because I don't live in the area anymore. I'm actually in the Boston area, but I got to hear all the stories. So I'm super jealous.
Yes.
And then during the actual episode, we gave them all poker chips and let them all gamble. And after a little shyness on the first match, these kids were brutal. They were just going for it, betting on everything. It was truly inspiring to see, an 8-year-old with no concept of money gambling just viciously.
Yeah. Gotta start them young,
Well, there was a reason though that we were doing this game, gamifying it a little bit. What were some of the prizes they were gambling over?
We gave away half of the mammoth weapon that Hypershock ripped in part in previous seasons. Some of our demo wooden pieces for when we were building the first bot to make sure everything fit together, a couple Doomba parts, stickers, t-shirts. So we made it worth their while. And then they all kept the chips at the end.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool to me. People go nuts over these chips. So,
Oh yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah. How much do we still have some in stock, don't we?
So many chips, and they're all on clearance right now. And she has a coupon code. Oh my goodness.
Doomabot.com.
Excellent.
Go check it out now.
Plug there.
It's amazing how quickly you memorize these things, I haven't bought any merchandise from the store at all. But let's talk about the match itself. So first of all, you had mentioned, so I want to make sure that we talk about that on the show. There seems to have been some walkout shenanigans that were not shown on TV. And I would really like to let the fans hear about said walkout shenanigans.
I was a little bit embarrassed, so I tried not to participate, but they of course sucked me in. But Liz was a prime instigator.
Are we talking about the chainsawing? The chainsaw outside of the space? What are you talking about?
No, when you decided that you should be a matador.
Yes.
Oh, that one. Oh, that's right. I was like, I thought we were skipping ahead after the match, which we can talk about that too.
We can talk about that too.
The death of a tree, which is why I was really surprised.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't know. Okay, look. Okay, to be fair, there's a lot of shenanigans that go on at Battle Bots. And so for a second there, it took me, I know we had just talked about it too, right before we started recording, what we were going to talk about. But for some reason, the way you mentioned shenanigans reminded me of the other shenanigans after this shenanigans. it's just chock full of shenanigans.
We have to talk about the pre-shenanigans first.
Pre-shenanigans.
Yeah.
The pre-shenanigans, what happened was, and it was only, I think Diana posted about it. Like, so it was like we were coming out, we were both really excited to be, you know, fighting each other, you know, like we really like respect each other as teams, and like we also just like legitimately like each other as people. Like we just, you know, love hanging out,
Yeah.
so that we're fighting each other now. And so I think like all of the love for each other just like boiled over, and we were just like really getting into our like our walkout. And so we did our regular walkout, and then like as the teams are like, you know, talking to each other, like kind of normally like we'll kind of like, you know, like, what's up, you know, like to each other.
Yeah, pose like.
But oh my god, I can't remember the character names right now.
Wingding,
Wingding and Numbskull. So they were not Diana or Zach. They were not anywhere affiliated to any other a team that they're normally associated with, is what they told me beforehand. And so this is their character. I was interacting with them as characters, and there was like a whole scene where we were like, they were going, they're getting into character, and I don't know. I was trying to, you know, I did theater back in high school. And so like, of course, I'm like, how to say yes? How do I like, you know, keep this shtick going? And so I'm like, Matador, like, woo. We had our Doomba flag, and I was like, ole, ole, ole. And Diana's coming at me, and like, there was like a whole, like, it was so much chaos. I was like, some of this has got to be on TV.
At one point, I roared at them. I'm so glad they cut that. That was cringe that you all do not need to witness.
It was a whole thing. And then in the end, they fainted. Like Pokemon, you know, like they don't die, they faint. And so I was like, oh, go to sleep. Like we had this whole thing. But yeah, that is I can't remember if Diana posted on the team page or if she posted on her own personal page, but it's just me covering Wingding or Dingbat. I can't remember which one was which. I was covering them up with the blanket, like, go to sleep. Yeah, that was the shenanigans before the fight. That was not aired. Maybe it'll be one of those like bloopers behind the scenes kind of thing later on.
Baby.
That still feels like a fevered dream. Like I remember all of that. I'm like, wait, did that actually happen?
It really did.
Yeah.
Like I was out of breath. Like I was like, I was getting really into it. I was like, and I'm sure like it probably translated on camera like amazing. And so maybe that's why they cut it. They're like, no, this content's not great.
Well, they had to save time to show all of our home videos, which was super flattering.
Oh, that was so awesome. I really appreciated them doing that. BattleBots had a lot of well, you sent them some really good stuff that I was hoping would air, and we didn't end up.
Oh, we sent them the gun video, and they were like, yeah, can we get a release for this one? And I'm like, yes. I'm not going to tell you it's fake. I'm just going to sign the release and hope it makes it to TV.
Yeah.
But they went with the chainsaw and the undercutter videos. So, you know, not bad.
I'll take it.
Yes, it certainly sounds like a lot of entertainment overall, and I really would expect nothing less from the two teams involved in that match. So,
and now people will stop asking if the chainsaw is fake. So
they might not. You know how it goes. They might still ask.
Oh, it's going to be the next Carmen Electra, and it's going to just keep coming up.
Yes, exactly. So yeah. But you know, the match itself. So I was really excited because, you know, obviously the first match didn't go the best, but I mean, you weren't exactly prepared for the opponent that you were fighting. So I think that had a lot to do with it, you know, whereas in this match, obviously, like, you knew you were fighting Dragon King. I thought it was a really great matchup overall. And it was a really entertaining fight. So, you know, I kind of want to hear from both of you, your take on how that fight went. And, you know, I'm sure you were happy with it.
I feel like we should have done a lot more damage. We've got an undercutter. They've got treads. Like, it's a very strong matchup. However, we'd never driven the spot more than like 3 miles an hour. And as soon as we got it up to speed, there were significant handling problems. We finished this spot at the event, we did not get it done beforehand. So it was all just running and going for it. So I'm glad it did as well as it did. And it ended up being a really good match because we didn't have the undercutter. That forced it into a more strategic technical battle, which was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Overall, I had fun.
Yeah, there's a couple amazing moments where like Brian snuck the blade in between their chains, and then it was just like, oh, yes, I'll take that. Thank you.
I was just like, I'm what, you see that and you're like, was that luck or skill or a combination of both? I tend to think that it's both.
Oh, absolutely a combination of both. We knew we might get it tangled in something, but we weren't really sure. And then he saw the chain just go straight in that hole. And at that point, just up and down, shake it loose, rip it off. And that's why we have a dedicated chainsaw operator, because I didn't even see it happen. I was too busy trying to place the bot, trying to fight against the bad transmission. So he saw the opportunity and he took it. It was beautiful. And then near the end, we got pulverized, which was hysterical, and also knocked our motor out for one of our drive motors.
And our battery.
Oh yeah, the chainsaw battery just like shoo.
It was still good though. I saw it happen and I was like, man, I think I just bought them too. And they were the expensive ones that I was like, oh my God. And then I went to go look at it and I'm like, it's still good. Yeah. So that was exciting.
We were like, oh, did we screw up our only chainsaw? Do we need to go buy emergency chainsaws? And then it was like, no, everything's fine. Like,
yeah. But
we
tied it next time.
Yeah, we lots of zip ties.
Yeah.
Next match.
How does that conversation go at the hardware store? Hello, I need an emergency chainsaw.
So for the next match, we needed 2 smaller chainsaws for reasons. And I just sent Liz out there and I was like, Liz, go find me some chainsaws.
It was an adventure because we were also trying to like save money, not go too ham on it. But yeah, I found the right size chainsaws for undisclosed reasons.
And then she just sent me a text like, is it okay if I spend $500 on chainsaws?
Was it
And I was like, they're going to give us like $1,000 if we get this match. So yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And add some of this conversation to the growing list of things that make sense in BattleBots, but out of context anywhere else would be an insane thing to say. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, that is fantastic. Now, since we talked about the pre-shenanigans, I have to hear about the post-shenanigans.
Sorry. I feel like that's all you, Brice. That is
okay. So
your shenanigans all the way.
We were the last fight of the night. So we got out at like 11:15 or something. They kick us all out at midnight. So we have to be off the site in 45 minutes. But there's this tree that fell on the handicap ramp. And we have a chainsaw robot. And previously in the day, like we were like kind of like joking about, oh, we should go get it. And Greg just comes up and says, I can't tell you what you can or cannot do with your robot, but I want footage if it happens. And just walked away. That was all he said. He walked away. So we get out of the fight at like 11:15 and it's all hands on bot. Like we are in the battery tent, tearing it down, like just perfect synergy. Everyone knows what they need to be doing. We get the bot fixed up, take it out to the tree and just we cut this tree in half. And then we have all the axes that we have for just props. And we just destroyed the rest of it.
Yeah.
And people are just like, wait, is that Doomba in a tree? And the other builders were delighted to just walk past and see the chaos.
Yeah, there was some behind the builders, like, you know, we talk and chat and stuff. And there was a storm had come in. So the tree went down and somebody had posted about that. I can't remember if it was that tree or another tree. Like they like tagged us like, hey, where's Doomba? Or like, where you at? Like, come get this. And so it's like, it was meant to be.
So we can confirm Doomba will cut trees in half.
Yeah.
And the forestry service is a real forestry service. It's not very good. We just drag them over to the other side of the parking lot and leave them there, but
yeah,
does the job.
And it works for Christmas trees too. According to our holiday video that came out.
I may have helped that one a little bit, but
hey, cutting a
tree, a little movie magic.
Yeah. I mean, all of Doomba is movie magic, which is what I really love about it. Like, I feel like a big part of what we do, I mean, like we've said this in other interviews, and I can't remember if we were talking about it, but it's we make stupid videos and sometimes make a robot. And so like a big part of like what I was doing, like in our first, like our application videos, like we're doing a lot of puppeteering. And so like it's me, I have baby Doomba and I'm like shaking it, and like he's like grinding metal, or we're doing a thing, and I'm like holding on to Doomba and I'm like, do the thing. Yeah. And so it's puppeteering, and I feel like it is definitely an art form that, I mean, I really appreciate puppetry, and it's like we're not really doing like legit puppetry, so I hope professional puppeteers are not coming at us. You know, and then Brice just does amazing job like doing editing and like putting the storyline together. And you know, I really enjoy like that we're not just, and we are a robot team obviously, and we enjoy the robotics part of it, but also story.
Yeah. And one of our team mottos is none of us are as dumb as all of us.
Oh my God, that's our other favorite one. Yeah.
So we always throw it out to the group chat, and we'll be like, here's an idea for a script, and we'll get worse ideas back in and integrate those. Then we'll throw out a draft, be like, here's a draft. And they'll be like, it'd be funny if this happened. And you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I have to film that because that's funny.
Yeah.
So
that is terrific. And I mean, like, I so appreciate that, because, you know, for me, the entertainment aspect is such a big component of BattleBots. Like, if people just came out and the robots fought and nothing else happened, I don't think that I would like it as much. You know, there has to be more. And I think that that's great. You know, something that I did actually want to touch on, because I don't think I really got into it that much the last time that when I interviewed you, Brice, is that, you know, I think Doomba was one of those robots at filming that so many people seemed very interested to come up and see when you had Doomba out in the parking lot. You know, because it's so unique. Like it's really not like any other robot in the field. How was that, especially it being new as well, to have fans coming out and like really wanting to see?
It was wild to have people coming up and be like, oh, Doomba, I know you. And you're like,
I make fan art for you. Like they came up to us and had
they're
fan
coming
art
up with
ready.
signs
like,
already made at home, and you're like, it's very flattering. But like a lot of it is just a very relatable design. Like this is what every 5-year-old wants to do, right? And we just turned it up to 11 and put it on the internet and spent $20,000 making terrible ideas a real thing.
These are facts.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea as long as it works.
Working on that.
You know, you like any good Pokemon, you have to keep training and evolving.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
and that was actually going back to this fight. That was what this fight was great at. Is it highlighted exactly, you need to fix this and this and this.
Yep.
And then so we were able to fix most of those issues for our third fight, and it paid off in spades. It was so good.
Yes.
And version 3's coming out too, so you know, definitely
yes, and
building on a lot of things we learned.
Yeah, the V3 parts are starting to come in, and it's so exciting.
I mean, I'm excited about it.
They let us on again, so I think we did pretty okay.
Anytime. You know, but
well, I mean, BattleBots, the invite, because we're technically an alternate this year.
Yeah. So like, Greg, get on it.
Yeah. Well, it's something the fans actually didn't really, at least when I was reading like some of the Facebook chat, they didn't realize that we were an alternate for some reason. And yeah, so like the way it was just worded, and it's like, yeah, we're just an alternate, y'all. Like we don't control things. Like
Yeah.
we're doing the best we can. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of curious too, because that's one of many new components this year in BattleBots, because normally like you just have 60 or so or however many robots and everybody's kind of in it. The alternate thing is kind of a little bit different, where they have these showcase matches essentially. Do you think that is a good way for a robot that maybe they're not 100% sure about to get a chance to prove itself?
Absolutely. It's always been kind of in practice a thing, and they're just more formalizing it now, which sets expectations for everyone. So I think it's definitely a good move on their part. And there are a lot of bots that have no legit chance of the giant nut, but you still want to see them fight. And I think that's an amazing case for alternates. And we've had like the alternates this year are actually really good. So like I've never watched one of the alternate matches this year and been like, oh, okay, whatever. Like normally you're like, that was pretty good. That was more entertaining. Like they might not be a good bot, but that was a super entertaining match. That said, Triceratops.
Yeah,
right?
Terratops.
They're fighting this week and they're good. Like they did their homework. So I'm excited to see how they do.
I mean, I think from what we've seen already, that's like to me, that's proof. And it's like I'm so happy for the these robots that are in these positions and get these chances, because like all of the rookies were talked about pretty heavily before the season even happened. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, I don't know about this robot. And it makes me feel good when I see a robot that everybody was like, I'm not sure, go out there and actually like show, hey, this is a good design. So I think that's exciting.
And then they did great at Robo Games last weekend. So like they're going to spring a strong bot next year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting. It's exciting to see those like different, growth and changes. Cause like I've talked about this a lot this season, that, you have such like differences in so many bots this year as to how they normally perform. You have bots that are normally very good that have losing records right now, and like then you have the inverse of that, of bots that don't normally win that have really good records. And it's so interesting to see that, like that juxtaposition, and see how everything changes as everybody gets better. Which they really do. So
yeah, it takes a couple of matches to work out all your gremlins, and there's like one or two bots that just turn on in the next week or two, and just like they go from being like very like, oh, how'd you get here, to like, oh. So I'm excited to watch the rest of the season. This could be good.
Yes, it absolutely is. Well, I know that we're not completely done with Doomba yet. At some point, there should be more to come, but I will absolutely have to circle back on that when that happens. But yes, it's going. I think it's going to be a really exciting season. I can say that as having been there for a lot of the stuff that is still to come. So I think the fans are really going to love it. I think everything's gonna kind of flow nicely, and yeah, it's a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's been a great season with a couple really just baller fights that I'm so hyped for.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, including ours, let's be honest, including ours.
Yes, exactly. And it's that a fight is good when I still remember it. Because
when you watch like 500 of them, and then like
it's real. Like BattleBots amnesia is real. Like I was there, but there's things that like I'm like, I don't even know what happened in some of these cases.
I didn't remember at least half the fights during the episode in the watch party. And I'm just there betting with the 10-year-olds. I'm like, oh yeah, probably this guy. I don't know.
Like, oh, they fought? Yeah, didn't know. Or maybe you heard it and you just forgot. Yeah, like it's a lot.
Yes. But yeah, so we will see how the rest of the season goes. You know, but as I've said before, everybody that's watching, please subscribe if you haven't, because you know, I just want to keep growing the channel, and I can do a lot more cool things once I get to a certain level on YouTube. So that'll give me a lot more freedom to do some pretty cool stuff if I can get there. So just keep support combat robotics, all of that good stuff. If you haven't built a robot and you're thinking about building a robot, just go do it. You know, I've said this before. Just
build
it.
a bad robot. Don't worry about making it good. Just go build something. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And to plug some combat robotics that I've seen recently, I think in Connecticut, Huge is running a couple of events. I would look into that, y'all. That's actually coming up this month. So, yep. Plugging other teams.
Hey,
it's a family.
That is what BattleBots is all about. It is about the love of the sport and everybody supporting each other. And that's what's so great about it. So yeah, just keep watching, keep supporting, all that good stuff, and we will definitely see you next time on the show.
Definitely. Sounds good. Can't wait to